Hello everybody, this is TipTop MTG here today with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a bunch of information from the Zendikar Rising announcement stream. So instead of having it all in one big video, they announced so much that I'm going to have to break it up into multiple videos. So this is the first one where I'm going to be talking about every single mechanic in Zendikar Rising. Obviously the new mechanics, not like evergreen ones, but yeah, we're going to be talking about all four of them. I'm going to give you my thoughts, explain how they work, and talk about how they may impact certain formats. So why don't we jump right into this? So the first mechanic they talked about was Kicker. So this is a returning mechanic from original Zendikar, and it lets you pay an additional cost to add an extra effect or amplify the effect of your spell. One example they gave of that was Blood Chief's Thirst, which is a 1-cost sorcery that destroys target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. If this spell was kicked, instead destroy target creature or planeswalker. So you can pay 1 mana and destroy target creature or planeswalker with CMC 2 or less, or you can pay 4 mana and destroy anything. So it is, paying 4 mana to destroy target creature or planeswalker isn't a great rate, but the fact that you can just pay 1 sometimes kind of makes up for it, and I think this is actually a pretty decent card. I mean, I don't know how viable it's going to be, only being sorcery speed removal in an age of Ember Cleaves and, things like that, but it'll be interesting to see how a card like this does. I really like Kicker. Kicker's kind of this nice extra flavor on top of a card. It doesn't, or this extra, not flavor, but extra, just extra to the card. It allows it to not be super intrusive. You don't have to build your deck around it, but it fits into any deck, and it's really awesome. So I'm glad to see it return. Next, we have Landfall being confirmed. So it's a returning mechanic from original Zendikar that gives you a bonus for when lands enter the battlefield. So as our example here, we have Rune Crab and the alternate showcase version of it. It's a 1-cost 0/3 creature crab with landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. So first off, Landfall is the mechanic that is getting all of the showcase cards. So every single card with Landfall will have this alternate art kind of adventure poster style of card, and I actually really like the way that it goes under the text box and around, and I really like the way this looks. So yeah, in terms of what I think about the mechanic, I think it's a pretty good mechanic, but in a standard so dominated by cards like Uro and I would say Growth Sprout, but not anymore, Uro and Cultivates and lots of, putting lands onto the battlefield ramped, I am kind of concerned about the power level of that, so I really hope these things stay in check. I mean, they've already confirmed Lotus Cobra is going to be in the set, which for those of you who don't know, just adds a mana whenever a land enters the battlefield, which is amazing in decks that run things like Fabled Passage, Land Tutoring, Uros, anything that's going to put a bunch of lands on the battlefield. And so I expect that to become a pretty powerful deck in Standard. Next, we have some new mechanics. So we have Party. So this is a new mechanic that gives you a bonus for having a creature of each of the following types: Warrior, Wizard, Rogue, and Cleric. And kind of how they word it in reminder text is your party consists of up to 1 of each Warrior, Wizard, Rogue, and Cleric. So, for instance, Tazari, Beacon of Unity, is a 5-cost white legendary creature, human warrior, 4/6, but this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. So, so say you have a warrior, a wizard, a rogue, and a cleric, this is a 1-cost 4/6. Now, say you have 2 warriors, this only reduces the cost by 1. So essentially, if you have at least 1 warrior, it costs 1 less. If you have at least 1 wizard, it costs 1 less. If you have at least 1 rogue, it costs 1 less, and the same thing for cleric. So having multiple, say, clerics doesn't do anything in this case. Now, it has the ability to either pay 2 are blue, 2 are black, 2 are red, or 2 are green, which is part of, Mark Rosewater did this big puzzle, and your clues, and those mana symbols were part of it. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 clerics, rogue, warrior, wizard, you may reveal up to 2 cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard, and or ally cards from among them, and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, with those hybrid mana symbols, this is a 5-cost Tazari that will, it works in a rogue, cleric, warrior, wizard, or ally deck. Now, this also confirms the return of ally, which is pretty awesome. It'll be interesting to see where they go with that. Overall, this is pretty generic. I mean, You do get two, things. I don't know. It lets you gain some advantage, but it really needs other cards to work around it. It's not something I would say I would go, ooh, I want to build that immediately, but I think it could be interesting. So, yeah, obviously, I'm not going to give my full thoughts on a lot of these cards because I'm going to be doing a full video later today about spoilers. So, if you want to see more specifically the spoilers, check back a little bit later once everyone has kind of revealed theirs for the day, and I'll talk about those then. Next, we have Modal DCF. So this is a new kind of mechanic, but it's essentially a dual-faced card. Now, in the past, how these have generally worked is you play one side, you play the left side, and then it has some sort of condition to transform it into the other side. But how these work is that you play one side or the other. So in this example we have here, Valakut Awakening, you can either choose to pay 3 and cast an instant and put do its effect, or you can play it as a tapped land. So that's really, really interesting. Now you have these cards in your deck that, you have to maybe lower your land count, because maybe now you count this as both an instant and a land. And so it's definitely interesting. It reminds me a lot of Adventure, Adventure, sorry. It reminds me of that, but instead of it being an instant and a creature, it's an instant and a land, except you can't cast the instant and then cast the land. So it is a little bit different there, but they said that, first off, that every single pack of Zendikar Rising will have a modal dual-faced card. I don't know why I put DCF, it's DFC. But whatever. So some of them are like this, and then they also showed some that are dual lands. So there's a set of rare dual lands, 6 of them, that are essentially basic lands on each side. They're not actually basic, but for the purposes of they enter untapped and they tap for color. So let's say you have one in white and black, which there is one in white and black. You can either have it enter the battlefield as a land that just taps for white or just taps for black, and it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped. So it's an interesting, untapped source. So yeah, I actually really like the way these play. They're very diverse. They give you lots of options. Very similar to something like Kicker, which is giving you lots of options. So I like Modal DFCs and Kicker a lot. So yeah, those are the mechanics of Zendikar Rising. I want to know what you guys think of all of them. Is there one that you don't understand? Is there one that you don't like? Do you not like Landfall? Are you concerned about Landfall? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more Zendikar Rising, either subscribe or check out my channel to see all the other videos I'm doing today. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.